So let's talk about this properly, because people feel like the system is squeezing them, but they cannot articulate why. Most people just know that something feels off right now. You're working your butt off, you're earning good money, and you're moving up the brackets in life, you're scaling business, you're building, and yet somehow it still feels like you're running uphill. As I love to say, pushing porridge up a hill. And so today, let's just slow it down and look at some of the numbers without letting emotion rule. I want you to understand how this works, because Australia collects roughly $750 billion in revenue every year, which is around $750 to $800 billion. We are a country of about 26 million people, and that means that the system is extracting roughly $30,000 per person per year across all forms of taxation. And guys, this is not conspiracy, this is arithmetic. So I want to zoom in. Let's look at it, right? You earn $500,000 in a year, and you're going to be paying roughly $190,000 to $200,000 in income tax. You earn $1 million a year, you'll be paying somewhere around $450,000 in income tax. That's almost half. And that's before GST every time you tap your card, before stamp duty when you buy property, before capital gains tax when you sell the property, before land tax if you hold it, before payroll tax if you employ people, before company tax if you operate through an entity. And then we've got fuel excise every year, every single time you fill your car. You've got alcohol tax, tobacco tax, luxury car tax, council rates, Medicare levy, before surcharges, before compliance costs. Everything is layered, not once, but repeatedly. And then people are wondering why building wealth feels so damn heavy. Now let's talk about the banks for a minute, because this is where it gets really interesting. Commonwealth Bank last year made just under $10 billion in net profit. Westpac made around $7 billion, ANZ roughly the same, $7 billion, and so did NAB, around about $8 billion in profit last year. And so combined, the big four cleared over $30 billion in profits. And this is after salaries, after compliance, after all of their write-offs, after their operating costs. Pure profit. And now here's the part that people don't slow down to understand. Banks do not lend you existing money. So when you borrow $1 million for a home loan, that money is created through credit expansion. It is entered into existence through accounting. It is not pulled from a vault. It is not backed by gold. It is literally created through debt. And then you spend 25 to 30 years paying interest on it. And at 6% over 30 years, a $1 million mortgage is going to cost you close to $2 million in repayments, half of that being interest. And so the bank creates credit, it lends it to you, and you return almost double over time. And while you're doing that, inflation quietly erodes the purchasing power of your currency. Just quickly, guys, if you're a woman who's earning well but still feels like your money isn't working for you, I can help. My Build Your Wealth portal is the perfect place to begin, and for less than $100 a month, I'll teach you the exact groundwork that has allowed me to create freedom for my family. Just hit the link in the show notes to connect into my community today. Now back to the episode. Now, official CPI might say 3%, but anyone who buys groceries, owns property, pays for education and healthcare knows the real cost of living expansion is compounding far more aggressively over decades. And the thing is, inflation is not itemized on your payslip, but it functions like another tax. Your dollars buy less and less every single year. And now add household debt, because Australian household debt sits above $2.5 trillion one of the highest debt to income ratios in the developed world. At the same time, superannuation exceeds $3.5 trillion, and it's locked inside of a regulatory framework that most people couldn't explain if you asked them. They wouldn't even know where their retirement is actually allocated. And here's the psychological part. You know this feels tight. You know it feels like you're swimming upstream, but you're still depositing your income into the same institutions. You're still borrowing from the same institutions. You're transacting through the same rails, and you're accepting the same currency. Basically, what you're doing is you are complying without understanding optimization. You're trusting long-term stability in systems that rotate every election cycle. And the system doesn't need to oppress you. All it needs you to do is participate, and that is the design. Now, this is not anti-government because hospitals matter. Infrastructure matters, so does education. But what matters the most is literacy. If nearly $800 billion is collected annually and the big four banks clear over $30 billion in profit, if household debt exceeds $2.5 trillion, if your mortgage doubles in repayment cost, inflation silently dilutes your currency, the question is, at what point are you going to stop being reactive and start being strategic? And this is why decentralized finance matters. Not because it's rebellious, but because it introduces optionality. And if currency can be printed infinitely, scarce assets become relevant. If banks can freeze your accounts, custody matters. If taxation is layered, then structuring your personal affairs matters. And if inflation compounds that quickly, assets that outpace debasement matter. The system is not broken. It is functioning exactly as it was designed to do. The question is whether you understand it deeply enough to stop being purely a participant and start becoming a strategist inside of it. And that is the shift. If you've gotten value from today's episode, make sure you subscribe and leave a 5-star review. And if you're ready for more support in building regulated wealth strategies, check out the link in the show notes. Have a beautiful day.